Hi y'all, how are you doing? So today I really just want to share with you the last couple weeks of my life, which have been this constant roller coaster as we all are going through the challenges and the difficulties and just the ups and downs of life. And a couple of weeks ago, as you guys know, as a lot of you guys know, I made the decision to leave my corporate job. It had been years in the making, right? You know, I had been choosing this for years and years and years, and that's one of the biggest secrets to really moving towards your dreams, right? It's like we're not going to wake up one day and it just everything be in place. We have to keep choosing it over and over and over again, right? And so finally, you know, I had been tossing around when was the perfect time? Was there a perfect time? And finally, I made that decision, that choice to leave, right? And that choice for me was really about, first and foremost, I booked all my vacations, right? So you can tell where my priorities are. I hadn't actually put my notice in yet, but I had booked all of my vacations to start to really move into the life that I knew that I deserved, move into the life that I knew I was meant to have, that we are all meant to have if we go for it, right? And so the next day, that very next day, the universe decided to test me, right? And so it tested me. It was really, really interesting. That next day, basically, my boss decided he was going to put in his notice. And my boss had been making my job so difficult. And I knew at some point I was going to choose this. I knew at some point in the near future I was going to choose this. But definitely the way he was showing up was not helping me to want to stick around. And so here he was in a couple weeks' time was going to be gone. And really the universe was asking me, like, are you sure you want this? Are you sure you don't want to just stay? And I mean, really what him leaving meant, at least for the next couple of months, meant kind of not being supervised, right? So kind of could go back to the way a lot of that job had been for me, a lot of the enjoyment and stuff that I had gotten from it, from just having that freedom, having that independence, being able to step into and just own, okay, like I'm doing this job and I'm also moving towards my truth. And so the universe was asking, is this something you really, really want? And so I had to really think about it, right? I took a step back and I actually even just kind of did all the due diligence of like, okay, let me just find out, like, if I cancel and I step back, what does that mean in the physical world, right? So how much is it going to cost me to make any changes, to make any cancellations? And what does this really, really look like? So I took some time to step back, which really, I didn't have a lot of time because I had to kind of make that decision within the day. And really, the thing that really was guiding me was really the energetics of it, right? I was really looking at, this is my dream. This is something that I have been wanting and working towards for 2 years. And while in the physical it might have appeared to be the right thing to put it off or to wait, in the energetic world, it absolutely was not, right? Because in that energetic world, it was basically me saying, my corporate job, the money that my corporate job is providing me is more important than my dream, is more important than the things that I want in this life, the things that I've been working towards, like for the last, like I said, couple years. And so I couldn't do it. I was like, no, I made the decision. I made the choice. I am choosing this. And there is no going back, and nor do I want to go back, right? And so I stood in my choice, right, and was like, okay, in a couple of weeks, just there were certain things time-wise that a couple of weeks was really just, I'm gonna choose this. I'm gonna move from this, right? And so fast forward to a few days ago, and my boss had arranged a meeting for us to kind of quote unquote wrap things up, and I meet him. And lo and behold, as I walk in through the door and he asked me to take a seat, the HR manager has flown in from Tennessee. And I'm like, we all know when the HR manager flies in from another state, that probably ain't so good, right? And so I'm sitting and I'm like, okay, I know what's coming. And he's walking me through the process, and basically they're letting me go. And they're letting me go with actually two different severance options, because they actually owe me a fair amount of money. And so they were letting me go with two different severance options. So they were actually going to pay me to leave, right? So I had already made the choice. I knew that that was what I was going to do. And they were going to make it even easier and actually pay me to do what I had already done, right? So for me, there was no like either or, right? It wasn't like the medical sales job that you've been doing and the money you're getting from this. It's like you get to get the money you're getting from the medical sales and you get to get your dream, right? And it was because I had chosen that first, right? I had said yes to it, right? Who knows in the energetics, if I had backed down, what, today that would look like in the physical form. And I share this with you today because, yes, basically I was having this moment on Friday where I was thinking to myself, like, no more TGIF, right? We all get into these habits, we all get into these patterns of like, thank God it's Friday, like I can't wait to get to Friday, right? And I was having this thought, I was thinking about it, I was like, no more TGIF. And instead, and I want to really share this with you so you can really take this in and just really, really know. Instead, I changed it to TGIT, right? Thank God it's today. Because you know what? With this choice, every single day, I get to wake up, and I've been doing this even, doing and being in my corporate job, but even more so, every single day, I get to wake up in that gratitude. I get to wake up in that excitement. I get to wake up in the knowing that I chose this for myself, right? And I took all the steps necessary to do that, right? Coupled with this TGIT, in the last week's time, my stepmom, who's young and thriving and just this beautiful, energetic presence who just always brings so much positive energy and love into every room, had a stroke. And she's in recovery right now, and she's in recovering, but it's like, just very interesting timing, right? So when we talk about being on this roller coaster, the roller coaster of life, that was something, that was coupled with all of this, right? And so it was interesting too, because even with leaving my corporate job, this is a job I had been committed to for the last 6 years, right? And so even though I was leaving it, I was choosing it, it doesn't mean that you still don't go through the emotions and all the pieces of just what it looks like to make that decision, what it looks like to make that choice, right? So here I was going through that, and I was going through just sort of that powerlessness of really, not being able to really be there with her and help my stepmom, and just, obviously I could be with her in spirit, but just to be able to be there with her to help her through everything that she was going through, as she had been for me so many times in my life. And I'm just like, even just that, just really, I can just feel that in my heart. And so, all of this was a recentering around just, being present and being grateful in every single moment, right? And, it's like life is too short for us to, be waiting for Friday or any day, whatever your Friday is in your world. Life is too short for that, guys. And we need to be going towards our dreams, towards the things that make us happy, towards life and love and all that this life has to offer us, right? And so, if I can leave you with anything, it's that TGIT, right? Thank God it's today. And if every moment of every day you can recenter in that, especially when we're having, like I said, I've been having those hard moments. And when you're having those hard moments, if you can, in that same way, just recenter yourself and thank God it's today. I get to wake up today. I get to place my feet on the ground. I get to be with my family. I get to be with my friends. I get to experience these beautiful moments. I am healthy. I am happy. And even when I'm not happy, I know that this is all for my highest good. All of that is so, so, so beautiful, right? And there's a couple other pieces I do want to share that I think are really, really important. And just that, it's like in those difficult moments, with everything that had happened with my boss, I had a choice in that moment as I was saying goodbye to him to choose to be kind of, like, to really put out bad energy, or to choose love, right? And choose kindness, right? And in those moments, those are the moments that we get tested the most, right? And so for me, in that moment, I had been mentally really having to recenter myself every single time with him around choosing kindness and choosing love, right? And so in that moment, I was ready, right? I chose it. I chose love in that moment. And, even though he might have shown up from maybe a smaller space, I wasn't going to, right? And so this is what we get to be tested with every day, especially when somebody decides that they're not going to show up in kindness or show up from that space. You get to say, am I going to show up in the same way? Am I going to reflect that to them? Or am I going to show up and choose love? So that's one thing. The other thing too is I know so many people, even when I was going through this journey, right? I got told by so many people, why don't you just leave? Just leave. Go ahead and just choose it, right? And, if there's anything that I can say to you around this is you've got to do what feels right to you, right? I knew my situation. I knew that for the last couple of years, it was quite more than manageable to stay in both places, right? And here I had this, this career, this job that was feeding my dream, right? It was feeding my dream. It was allowing me to choose my dream with more ease, with more grace, with more presence. And so really, really, just knowing, like, you can keep choosing it, and you don't have to, you can do it, basically you can do it on your time, right? You don't have to choose it and just automatically leave if that's going to mean putting yourself in a really difficult situation. You can do both. You can have both. And so, it's like, this is just one reason as to why you don't have to leave your corporate job to pursue your dreams, right? You can have both. And when you are ready and when the timing is right, the universe will give you that high five, and the universe will hell yes you, just like you've been hell yesing it yourself. And so I wish you guys a wonderful day. TGIT, awesome. And thank you so much for watching.